viewers. All right, comedian Ali Siddiq is here. You've been performing for decades, just released Rugged. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. I sounded old right then.
Oh, I know.
I've been performing for decades.
Since 1907, this man. But you did have a solo special, what, 2010?
Yeah,
Well, that was a
I've
lot.
had a couple. I've had a couple of them. I just thought about it the other day, how long it's been. It's almost 3 decades, 27 years.
Just like that.
It's like I know it because my daughter, I started a year before my daughter was born. She's 26. That's how I keep up with it. Like, as soon as she has a birthday, it's in December, and I started in December. So I'm like, yep, we are changing together.
So over those decades, they're making you feel old again. Over all those decades, how have you seen comedy change?
The many phases of comedy. So social media definitely changed comedy.
Yeah.
You know, that was a hard thing for the traditional comic, that people could skip steps and go straight.
Like Matt Rife, for instance.
And, you know, I've been knowing Matt since Matt was maybe 15, 16.
Really?
Yeah, I was actually on a tour with 3 other young comics, and it was me, and I was the elder statesman on the So I watched Matt change in a lot of ways. He's definitely gotten taller and bigger over the years, but his the crowd work thing, that was something that was really frowned upon. I remember DL was behind that 8 ball where they're like, all you do is crowd work. So then he started doing material, and then would do crowd work at the end. Now crowd work is a special now. I'm like, wow.
But it's hard to do in a theater of 3,000. It's nightclub is one thing, but
it's crowd work is probably the easiest thing to do, because you're just looking in the audience. You have 3,000 people now, to say something about.
You feed off of the crowd, right? You feel that that synergy.
And you have your collection of what to say, the jokes that work.
And my thing is more of, I'm coming with material already. I'm an old school. I'm a throwback. So I'm already coming with material. So the crowd bothers me any type of interruption. Mm-hmm. I'm like, yo, this is theater. It's like a movie with me. It's like I don't want to talk about you. I don't know that you're there until you trying to make.
You have your script.
So I was in Fresno, and this was the craziest thing I ever even dealt with. I walked out. I said my thing, hey. And this dude hollered out, "What's up with the tuxedo?" I was like, I've never known somebody not to like a tuxedo. I dressed up for you. Why was a tuxedo a bad thing?
Yeah, I could see how that would be really
You were
distracting.
mentioning, though, the TikTok and the skip over, and I guess where you were going to go with that is that people aren't cutting their teeth working the small, that they can jump ahead, and you don't get that foundation. Is that what you were going to?
I was there, and you'll see it when internet guys are on the shows with seasoned comics. Mm-hmm. So now a lot of them don't have the chops that you need. In comedy, I don't think you can skip the steps. And the longevity of it is not skipping the steps. No great comic has skipped it. So you got to go through the worst to understand. Like I went through every genre. I would be in rooms where they were very rowdy, then I would be in rooms where they were totally silent. And it's like I went to Austin. It's an all white audience, and they laugh at the end. Like they let you listen,
finish.
Then they laugh at the end. And if you not accustomed to silence, then you think that you're doing bad. So then you start doing antics and running around. You're like, no, stay in the silence.
We want to hear the punchline, right? Like we're waiting for that punchline. But Ali, for those who aren't familiar with your story, I was reading a little bit about you, and you have an incredible story. Why don't you tell us how you got your start performing stand-up?
Actually, I started at Just Joking Comedy Cafe. I know one time a writer wrote that I started in prison. I was like, no comedy clubs in prison. Like not one. Not that I saw.
Not that you went to.
Okay, well, wait. So
I know I already know where that question was going. I've done 3,000 interviews. I know the lead into that, and I always correct people. I'm like, I know some writer wrote that, and it's like it stayed. It's like he has a signature on. I'm like, no, it didn't.
Okay, right? Well, we need to clarify. That is a major. We need to clarify that.
It's a. I've said it 1,000 times, and I'm never going to be able to clarify for some reason. And I tell people, I started in Houston on Richmond at Just Joking Comedy Cafe.
So there.
December. It was December. And I got booed. The first time I ever walked on stage, I got booed. And it wasn't because of material. It was because I was dressed wrong. It was crazy. I had on a suit. I was dressed up. But it was a college night. So it was U of H, TSU, Rice, Prairie View. And I walked out in a suit. And they just booed. All I said was, "Hey, how y'all doing?" And they started booing. Which, let me tell you the funniest story about this. And a lot of people don't know this. That night, Earthquake walked into the club as I was getting booed. Okay, so maybe a year later, he walks into this club called Semper's where I'm performing at, and I'm arguing with some dudes at the bar. Then he walks into another spot, and I'm arguing with some people. So then Def Jam, I win this Def Jam competition, and we're performing at the arena. On the show is Earthquake, D.L. Hughley, Ricky Smiley, and J. Anthony Brown. Earthquake walks in and sees me and said, "Hey, try not to get booed tonight." It's like I had a phobia of performing. Like every time he saw me, I was doing something crazy. It's like
I think we know who started the prison rumor.
Right.
Do you remember your first time on stage?
Yes, I do.
The very first. And what I think about there is the fear of doing it. Did you have that, or did you have a self-confidence that drove you through it?
I was both. I was right in the middle. I was like, I hope this works, because it was all about my at the time my wife being pregnant and how it changed from me being baby and sweetheart to very negative comments. You know, like I didn't know this happened. Like she got pregnant, and I never forget. I was in the back room and she hollered out, "Hey, bring me some water because you know I'm thirsty." How do I know that you're thirsty? I'm in a whole nother room. It's like this lady was mad at me. Like,
Well, we won't go into it, but yes.
but everything.
All
like,
your fault. All your fault.
Everything is my fault. It's like I remember she told me that I was breathing too loud. I was like, "Why don't you go watch TV in another room? You breathing too loud." I was like, "Oh, okay." But I was just the sweetest man in the world until you was pregnant. It was crazy. That was my first.
I love your bit about Mother's Day versus Father's Day.
What, right?
So funny. Mother's Day, the number 2 holiday.
Number 2. Father's Day, like number 20. And it's like it's behind Arbor Day. And like I didn't even know what Arbor Day was. And my thing was, so wait a minute. I just wanted to know this. So Halloween comes before Father's, like ghosts and goblins. It was just a weird thing.
But what would you say is your style when you prepare? Do you use a lot of your own personal experience at home?
That is it. I am a storyteller. And according to the LA Times, the New York Times, and Variety, I'm the greatest storyteller in comedy, no matter the era. That's what they say.
Wow.
We'll take that.
And
How does your wife feel about that?
Oh, wow. You went there.
I was like, yeah, because it's your personal little moments and nuances.
It's really just my life. What people know about me now is my life from 10 to 25.
Yeah.
And then I just started getting into my current life, with my 2 sons and Rugged. And now I just filmed 3 specials in Detroit. And I think that I'm doing something that most comics, and I explain to people like this a lot. Great comics will have 2 memorable specials, and those are the great ones. Mm-hmm. Iconic comics will have 3, and one of them you will not remember. You're like, "Oh, do you remember the one?" And Domino Effect was the first and still the only series of specials that were connected. So 1 through 4 it's my greatest work to this date because it has never been done in stand up.
Where can people see this?
Oh, YouTube. This? I'm a definitely an independent artist.
That's where I found you.
Yeah,
all over YouTube.
Where can
You're
people
so
hear
funny.
your stand up, or do you have any shows coming up that you can tell us about?
I'm coming to the Smart Financial again for the second time, New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
that's
Oh, wow.
yeah. So
So what do you do after the show's over?
man, we're gonna have a band.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep people there for a little while.
Bring in the new year with your
bring
audience.
in the new year, and I'm gonna have a pretty big band.
That sounds like fun.
What I'm not gonna have is Earth, Wind, and Fire. I asked, I reached out. I'm like, hey, how much would Earth, Wind, and Fire cost? And they said $500,000. And I said on the phone, I said, well, what about wind? What if I just get wind?
Oh, we got to end it there. It's so
Oh,
nice
that
to be
is
here.
so good.
Ali Siddiq, thank you so much
Thank
for
y'all
coming.
so
Come
much for
back
having me.
again.
I would love to come
We're
back.
always open for you.